power, information, and political control. You can adjust the language according to your preference. Choose the program that suits your needs from the playlist. Customize the subtitle position on your laptop, and adjust the video speed with the slider to suit your needs and comfort. Let's grow together through your subscribe and like on this video.
In today's world, political power has changed. It's no longer just about who has the biggest army or the most land. The new frontier of influence is digital. It's in our data, our communication networks, and the stories we see online. Governments today hold authority not just through buildings and laws, but through the vast digital systems that manage our society, from public records to communication infrastructure. This shift has transformed politics into a landscape where information itself has become one of the most valuable assets a nation can possess. Leaders worldwide are now juggling a complex balancing act. They need to manage economic growth, ensure national security, and maintain social trust, all at the same time. The goal is simple, but achieving it is incredibly difficult. It requires a delicate dance between government institutions, private companies, and ordinary citizens, all working to create a society that is both stable and capable of progress. At the very heart of political authority lies one crucial element: legitimacy. Legitimacy isn't something a government can just claim. It's to be earned. It comes from public acceptance, from institutions that operate transparently, and from a commitment to the rule of law. In democratic nations, this responsibility falls squarely on elected officials. They are entrusted to represent their citizens fairly. Institutions like the United States Congress and Senate stand as central pillars, tasked with debating policies, approving budgets, and overseeing the nation's affairs. But they can't act without limits. They are bound by the Constitution, sworn to protect individual rights, and required to respond to the public's concerns. When they fail to do so, they chip away at public trust. And as we all know, trust, once it's lost, is incredibly hard to win back. Our political systems are also deeply connected to our history. Every decision, every debate, and every law is preserved in government records, stored in national archives. These records are more than just dusty old documents. They are a map of our political evolution. They allow us, as citizens and researchers, to understand how policies were made and to hold our leaders accountable for their actions. Transparency is the engine of a healthy democracy. It ensures that government actions are always subject to public review. Without it, the door is open for corruption. With it, democracy grows stronger. Information empowers citizens, and empowered citizens are the bedrock of a strong democracy. You might not realize it, but political power is woven into the fabric of our everyday lives. It's in the bus you take to work, the quality of the healthcare you receive, and the rules that govern your bank account. The stability of our economy depends on the careful regulation of financial systems, including everything from student loans and credit cards to mortgages that allow families to buy a home. Housing policy, for instance, affects millions of people. And financial safety nets like national insurance programs are what help people get back on their feet after a crisis. Without these protections, economic inequality would spiral out of control. Effective governance is about finding that perfect balance between economic growth and social protection. Leaders have the immense responsibility of designing systems that are fair for everyone, efficient in their operation, and sustainable for the long haul. This responsibility impacts every single citizen, every worker, every family, and every generation yet to come. Elections are the cornerstone of democratic legitimacy. Every campaign season kicks off with a flurry of promises for reform, economic recovery, and national unity. Candidates travel across the country, from states like Illinois to Massachusetts to Wisconsin, shaking hands and meeting voters face to face. They ask for your vote, present their policy ideas, and lay out their vision for the future. Behind the scenes, campaign financing plays a massive role. Political donations, corporate support, and public funding all shape a campaign strategy. This is why financial transparency is so critical. Without it, we risk losing the credibility of our elections. At its core, democracy depends on fairness. In the modern era, elections are also shaped by the powerful influence of the media. Television debates, social media platforms, and digital news sites allow voters to engage with political messages like never before. Polls constantly try to measure the pulse of public opinion, while data analytics attempt to predict the final outcome. But this digital landscape comes with a serious risk: misinformation. False stories can spread like wildfire, distorting public perception and creating deep divisions. This poses a major challenge to our democracy. It's more important than ever for political leaders to communicate clearly, to provide accurate information, and to protect the integrity of our elections. There is absolutely no place for violence, intimidation, or manipulation in a democratic system. Citizens must feel safe to participate, because without that safety, democracy itself begins to weaken. Sometimes elections are so close that they end up in court. When this happens, experienced attorneys present their arguments, and a judge carefully evaluates the evidence. The courts are there to determine whether the voting process followed the rules laid out in the Constitution. This legal review process ensures accountability and guarantees fairness. It's a powerful reminder that in a democracy, political disputes must be resolved through lawful means, not through aggression or force, but through our institutions. Our democracy survives because these institutions function as they should, and they function because citizens respect the rule of law. Economic stability is another central pillar of good governance. A nation's revenue determines what it can provide for its people. From building roads and bridges to funding schools and social programs, when global markets get shaky, the value of our own currency can change unexpectedly. International trade is a massive, coordinated effort that requires careful regulation and smart diplomacy. Every day, cargo ships arrive on our coasts, like the Atlantic, carrying goods that keep our economy running. Economic growth can bring prosperity, but if it's not managed responsibly, it can also create wider gaps between the rich and the poor. Issues like inflation, national debt, and unemployment can quickly lead to public anger. This is why governments must be thoughtful about reform. They have to keep a close eye on the markets, protect small businesses, and ensure that our financial systems are strong enough to withstand any shocks. Of course, a government's duty also includes protecting its people. National security requires careful strategic planning and a measured approach to threats. A responsible government must maintain a capable military while actively working to avoid unnecessary conflicts. The best security strategy balances strength with diplomacy. International alliances are key as they provide collective stability and help strengthen peace in different regions of the world. But today, security also means protecting our digital world. Our cyber infrastructure must be defended against any interference. If our digital systems aren't secure, our democracy becomes vulnerable. Public trust depends on protection. Protection depends on being prepared. And being prepared requires long-term, consistent investment. But making real, lasting change is never easy. Legislative reform is a long process of negotiation, compromise, and a whole lot of patience. Any changes to our laws must follow the procedures set out in our Constitution. Some reforms aim to restructure the economy, while others focus on creating a more just and equal society. But a new law is only as good as its enforcement. Without proper enforcement, laws are just words on a page. Citizens judge reform not by the promises made, but by the tangible results they see in their own lives. They want to know if the promised improvements are actually happening. Is inequality going down? Are public services getting better? True reform requires strong leadership, courage, and a commitment to being held accountable. Ultimately, the concerns of the public can never be ignored. Citizens want and deserve clarity about the decisions that affect their lives. They want transparent communication from their leaders and a chance to be included in the political process. Good governance is about listening. It's about creating a dialogue and being responsive to the people you serve. When governments address concerns openly and honestly, trust grows. When they dismiss those concerns, frustration and anger build up. Democracy thrives when everyone is encouraged to participate, and it withers when voices are silenced. The job of a leader is to remain attentive, to remain responsible, and above all, to remain accountable to the people. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, consider subscribing for more deep dives into the systems that shape our world.